I want to call to order the meeting of Monday, July the 13th, and would the clerk please take the roll?
Councilmember Archibald. Councilmember Ashford.
Present.
Councilmember Beeden.
Here.
Councilmember Harris.
Here.
Councilmember Pemberton. Here. Councilmember Warden.
Here.
Mayor Rett.
Here. Mayor Pro Tem Archibald is at a work function that she wasn't sure she'd make it here tonight, but she might still arrive late. Minutes, regular meeting of June 22nd. Is there a motion to receive and file?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councilmember Ashford. Is there a second?
Support.
Councilmember Beeden. Is there any changes to the minutes? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes will stand as submitted. We now are on to public comment time. If there's anyone in the audience who wishes to address the City Council, please come forward. And to the podium, you have, we want your name and address, and you have 4 minutes.
Mayor and City Council, Nancy Windsor. I wanted to take an opportunity real quick. I have 2 representatives here from A Little Something. I want to thank them for, we had many bidders for the Pine Grove Park concession stand, and they're here with us today, and they are a great organization who's worked with us before and helps put people to work. So I'd like to take this opportunity to announce that they will be at Pine Grove Park. They might be able to tell you here in a minute a little bit. We were waiting on some health department certifications, but very excited that they're going to join us in helping us keep the bathrooms and the concession open. So I'd like to get the word out. I know their ice cream is great downtown, and I think it'll be an amazing spot to sit and watch the water and have ice cream at Pine Grove Park. So I'd like to thank them and welcome them to our recreation family. So thank you.
Are they going to come up and introduce?
Yes.
Because I don't think, yeah. Yeah, are we? Sorry to put you on the spot.
So thank you, Nancy. I'm Stacy Redfield. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for Touchstone Services, and we operate the clubhouse in Port Huron, and like Nancy said, A Little Something downtown, and the camp store in Lakeport. And we've had some experience doing this in the past. We were at Lakeside Beach from 2008 to 2015, doing kaleidoscope concessions where we sold stuff out of the concessions and kept up with the park and the bathroom. So we plan on doing the same thing at Pine Grove. We are hoping to be open next week. We were just kind of at the health department's mercy. So, but she's been great, and she is hopefully coming out at the end of this week, and we can get rolling Sunday, Monday, early next week.
Great.
So we're excited. We're going to have the same ice cream we have downtown at the store, and hot dogs. We are hoping to have the softball teams there, but maybe next year. So yeah, we're excited.
Well, very
Thank
good.
you.
We look forward to you opening up there. Pardon me? What hours do you think you're going to be open there?
8,
11 to 8, 7 days a week?
as per the RFP.
As per the RFP. Very good. Well, we are very excited to see you come there.
Thank
So,
you. Thank
I know your ice cream's good. I've
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
Yes. Any requests for flavors, to talk to Kim.
Yes, right here.
Yeah, there you go. Pistachio.
Blue Moon.
Exhausted parent.
We're all going to throw it out. Thank you very much. Is there anyone else in the audience who wishes to address the City Council this evening? Please come forward, give us your name and address, and you have 4 minutes. Seeing no one else, I'll declare public comment closed. We will move on to the consent agenda. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilmember Ashford. Is there a second?
Support.
Councilmember Pemberton. Everybody's moved around tonight, so I've got to listen to voices a little more. We'll take the vote.
Councilmember Ashford.
Yes.
Councilmember Beeden.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton.
Yes.
Councilmember Warden.
Yes.
Mayor Rett.
Yes. The items on the consent agenda recommending the Michigan Liquor Control Commission approve above all others the application of 401 Diner LLC doing business as Cavas Grill at 401 Quay Street for a Class C license pursuant to Public Act 501 of 2006, approving the 2020 request for local millage distribution from the St. Clair County Parks and Recreation Commission, certifying the delegates to serve at the 2020 Municipal Employees Retirement System of Michigan Annual Meeting in accordance with the Michigan Municipal Employees Retirement Act, and approve the appointment of Darcy Mackey to the Beautification Commission to fill a vacancy with a term to expire January the 30th, 2023. And that takes us to boards and commissions. If you please read it.
Receive and file notification from the Planning Commission regarding their decision to deny recommendation on the request to rezone the property generally described as 1340 Water Street from an R1 zoning district to a C1 zoning district. Council may choose to not accept the Planning Commission's recommendation and choose to schedule their own public hearing for August 10th, 2020 to take action on this matter.
We would need a motion to either accept their recommendation or to schedule our own, but I think I'm going to go a little off course here and ask that we have an explanation first before someone makes an actual motion. So if you, David, please.
Mayor, Rep. and Council, it is the recommendation of the Planning Commission to deny the applicant. The rationale behind it is that this is inconsistent, as it would be a spot zone in the neighborhood. It would also be inconsistent with the comprehensive master plan that recommends against the expansion of commercial properties into a residential neighborhood. There was also issues with the parking for the site in that it is off of an alleyway that also abuts residential properties. And if it were approved as a C1, even though they did feel for the applicant that maybe it wouldn't be that intrusive of a use, because in the past it has been a tattoo parlor. But unfortunately, once you rezone it to a C1, if he were to sell the property, anything within the C1 district would have to be allowed. And that was a concern as well.
Okay, thank you. Is there any questions for Mr. Haynes before I ask for a motion?
Mayor Rep,
Yes,
I would just like
Councilmember
to
Beaton.
agree with David that the concern really was spot zoning, and the neighborhood did come out and talk to some of the problems that they'd experienced in the past. And looking at the master plan, it's not consistent. So it was a tough decision by the commission, but they felt that it was in the best interest of that neighborhood and the city to deny the request at this time.
Thank you very much. Then I would ask for a motion to either go along with it, accept the Planning Commission's recommendation, or to choose to schedule a public hearing for August 10th.
Mayor, can I just
Yeah.
ask one more question?
Sure.
Sorry, David. Is there something existing prior to this application in that, is it a business or some type of, in this location?
It was a parcel business, but it's been vacant for more than 6 months.
Okay, so this would be something new.
Yep.
Thank you.
I like to move the recommendation coming from the Planning Commission. And my support on this is specifically based on the five statements in our package on page 12.
Okay, I just need the motion right now. and
Oh,
then you
yeah,
can
I
talk
know,
to-
I just was telling you,
Yep.
it's just on page 12, so the motion, I move that motion, that the recommendation.
So
be-
be accepted. We have a motion to accept the Planning Commission's recommendation. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilmember Harris. Okay, Councilmember Ashford, did you want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, I just wanted to elaborate, we just don't take this lightly, because anytime, I'm always concerned about spot zoning, because you know, you're just getting a case of favoritism, and of course with our master plan, and you open a can of worms. And I think you did a pretty good job of pointing out, Dave, the use of the alleyway and the parking, and there's just the incompatibility with land use and expansion. So it does speak for itself as to why we should not be, you know, voting for voting for this to be approved, and I strongly suggest that we deny this.
Any other comments from
Mayor Rep?
Councilmember Harris?
Just one comment. I would say probably over the period of the last 9.5 years, with the same property owner, the property failed to be maintained, whether it's summer, winter, or whatever. And like David had mentioned earlier, we have considerations for the parking, which is, they had a drawing there, but it was kind of inconsistent with the amount of real room they had, and I think the planning commission did the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you. Other comments from council?
Mayor Rep,
Yes, Councilmember.
I agree also with the planning commission, with having this as near the residential area currently zoned, and then having access, looks like from the alley to then start parking on there. I can see that would cause some issues. My question is, if it's currently zoned and it's R1, what shape is it in? I mean, is there a house there? I mean, is this thing going to be what use will be able to go with the condition of this thing?
Yeah, I believe the building was built in the 1950s originally, and it was built as a commercial structure. It can be an office use through a special use approval through the Planning Commission. So there is alternatives to the property. A tattoo parlor just is not one of them.
So in its current state, this diagram of the layout on the inside, these different rooms with the alley, is that the way that it's currently set up right now on the inside?
That was the proposed.
So is there bedrooms?
No, currently it was used as a parcel pickup in the past. So I imagine it's, open space.
Okay.
With I imagine a small office.
That's something they're going to have to come back to figure out what they're going to be able to do with that property. It's not a C1 use, right? Okay. Yeah, tough, very tough. Thank you.
Any other discussion? We will take the vote.
Councilmember Beeden?
Yes?
Councilmember Harris?
Yes?
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Warden?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. Go to from the city manager, item 1.
Accepting the quote from Goddard Coatings in the amount of $6,860 for the repair and installation of the basketball nets system at Lincoln Park.
Is there a motion?
So moved. Support?
Councilmember Pemberton, supported by Councilmember Ashford. Is there discussion? I see that we've got grant funding for this.
Yes, from the Ralph C. Wilson Foundation.
Thank goodness for them.
You're not kidding. They're a lifeline.
Yes.
I do have a question, Mayor. It's okay. It spoke here in our memo here. It says following the repairs, there were issues. What types of issues?
So there's different brackets at 16th Street, the brackets that hold it to the ground.
Right.
And so we moved this one to Lincoln, where the brackets would work. So the new one went in at Lincoln, and then this one is going to backfill at 16th Street where the brackets work.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Any other questions for anyone? Thank you. We'll take the vote.
Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton? Yes. Councilmember Warden?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Councilmember Beeden?
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. Item 2, please.
Accepting the proposal from BSNA Software in the amount of $6,815 for the purchase of online community development software to offer residents online access to permits, payments, and inspection information.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support?
Councilmember Ashford, supported by Councilmember Beeden. Do you want to give us a little?
Yeah, this is, I just want to
background?
thank David Haynes and our IT director, Bruce Fiedler, for working together on bringing this customer service enhancement to fruition. It's the 21st century. You shouldn't have to come into City Hall for anything. You should be able to pay your bills online. You should be able to pull a permit online. And you should be able to log online and see the process of your application for your permits and your inspection information all online. COVID-19 showed us areas where we were strong. It also showed us areas in which we were weak. In areas we could enhance resiliency of operations and access to information. This here will be huge for anyone with a rental, for anyone who pulls a permit and wants to pay for a permit. They can go online, they can file their inspection, they can see the status of their permit application, all from the comforts of their own home. So this is really about better customer service and making it easy to do business with the City of Port Huron.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Freed?
Just one, Madam Mayor.
Go ahead.
For those that, out there that might not just use the online, will they still be able to use the old-fashioned method of?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Anyone else?
Yes, and with this new setup, you know, anytime you have new technology taking place, is there going to be any change to the manpower?
No. What's nice about this is it's data processing information that we're already doing in-house. We're essentially taking what we can see internally and making it viewable externally for residents.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? We'll take the vote.
Councilmember Pemberton? Yes. Councilmember Warden?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Councilmember Beeden?
Yes.
Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. Item 3.
Accepting the quote from Transportation Improvement Association in the amount of $6,000 for government membership from July 13th, 2020 to December 31st, 2020 to work with police and engineering to enhance road safety and change behavior of drivers.
Is there a motion?
So move.
Councilmember Ashford, supported by Councilmember Pemberton.
Madam Mayor and Council, before you have agreement with Traffic Improvement Association, I have actually worked with this group before when I was serving as the assistant to the city manager in Walled Lake, Michigan back in 2006. This group is the experts in traffic safety and traffic flow data. This is being driven by two things. One, our traffic safety officer is going to be retiring, and we're losing that level of expertise internally. It also provides us an opportunity to reach out to some of the leading experts in the region. This group works with SEMCOG communities, Oakland, Wayne County, also some of Macomb. This will provide us with an entire organization dedicated to problem solving around traffic safety information, whether that be parking, pedestrian, biking safety. A few months ago, we had a resident here who mentioned, you know, we should look at bike safety and pedestrian safety along 10th Street. They're not all wrong on that. Having a group with the best practices and knowledge will allow us to, one, address the need of having that traffic safety officer retire, filling that back talent, but also giving some professional guidance to our internal traffic safety committee, provide them the resources and tools to make better informed decision, to look at problems maybe from a different context than we've always looked at them, to say instead of, you know, this is how the city of Port Huron's always addressed an issue, let's step back and use a group that's looked at the entire region using national standards. So this is again about enhancement in our ability to problem solve and enhancement to looking at problems. We will use general fund money. We will also look at using some of our Act 51 funding for this as well, between major and local streets.
Any questions for the city manager?
Mayor Rep.
Yes, Councilmember Warden.
This is an introductory, it looks like introductory amount for $6,000. It has a yearly rate, it looks like $15,000. Just down at the bottom of the first little page here, not just on our looks like the resolution here. Are we authorizing with this that it just is continual? Because it says the appropriate police department official authorized to annually pay and the required government membership fee?
Correct.
Or is this going to come before us every year because it's over?
This will be automatically renewed.
It will be part of our budget, though.
Yeah, correct. It'll be part of a budget item
Yeah.
automatically in the
You're looking at about $15,000 a year after this first 6 months tryout?
Correct. But if you figure what we have to pay for the training and certification of a traffic safety officer, this is comparable to that.
Yeah, so, okay, I appreciate it.
We also get a whole team of experts that's beneficial because there's some people in the organization who are bike safety people, there's some people who are traffic signal people, there's some people who are parking experts, so they all have their own niche where we can have access to that depth of talent.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from anyone? Then we will take the vote.
Councilmember Warden?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Councilmember Beeden?
Yes.
Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. We'll move on to resolutions. Item 1.
Authorizing 16 payments.
Is there a motion?
So move.
Councilmember Ashford, is there a second?
Support.
Councilmember Pemberton. Any questions on the payments?
Mayor Rep.
Councilmember Harris.
Yeah, I'd just like to comment, you know, in our attachment number 14 is a bill from Tetra Tech, which includes a $35,000 change. I guess the thing that really bothers me with the Tetra Tech is they are the one that designed this makeover to put these switch gears and stuff into a new building and stuff through the cooperation of our engineering department. And I guess my feeling is that should have been part of their original bid to get this job done. And I kind of find it $35,000 quite a bit more when it probably should have been in the original plans. The other thing that I got here is basically in attachment 16, and it's PM Blau for an additional $29,840. And, you know, sitting down and going to some of the McMorran meetings and stuff, and I regret I forgot to bring it myself, but I had a package that showed the original design plans for the McMorran for the area out front, which includes a winter theme and then a summer theme. And basically, at the last McMorran meeting, the amount of change that was required was going to talk about the water sprays in the front and changing them by just probably 1/3. And it just kind of jerks at me that you know, that we're spending a lot of money for engineering work, and it's kind of a minimal adaptation to what's going to happen. There's a great thing going to happen at McMorran there. It's going to be nice, but it's just the costs are too aggressive for me. So
I guess I'm confused as the council approved the change contract for the expanded scope of work from Blau. So the council approved the expanded contract with Blau, which also included some of the ice refrigeration systems. We found it was cheaper to design them in-house rather than contract that out. So this has already been approved, the change contract has. This is just the payment to pay for the additional services. Because
my timeline shows that since the last meeting, when the McMorran board met, there was like 12 spray things down the aisle, and it's reduced to what, 7 or 8? Because
there was additional specifications regarding the chiller system that was put in that cost as well.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions? Councilmember Ashford, did you have
No,
something?
I was just getting ready to say what he said, that we did, yeah,
Yeah.
we had made that change.
Any other questions on the payments? We will take the vote.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Councilmember Beeden?
Yes.
Councilmember Harris?
No,
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Warden?
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. Item 2.
Approving an addendum to the filtered water service agreement between Port Huron Charter Township and the City of Port Huron.
Is there a motion?
so moved.
Support.
Councilmember Pemberton, supported by Councilmember Ashford.
Madam Mayor, there is no great change here, except that we are adding parcel 3001 Dove Street, which is the new building that Preferred Charter built, their new maintenance facility that we will be able to serve water to. That's the only change, is adding them in.
Same otherwise?
Same
Okay.
otherwise, yep.
Okay, any questions from anyone? We'll take the vote.
Councilmember Beeden?
Yes.
Councilmember Harris?
Yes,
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Warden?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. Item 3, please.
Approving the lease agreement with the Macomb St. Clair Workforce Development Board and an agency of the state of Michigan to continue leasing office space on the 6th floor of the Municipal Office Center.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Councilmember Ashford, is there a second?
Support?
Councilmember Beeden, is this at the same rate of,
No, it is not. We negotiated a 2.5% one-time increase, taking that to about $14.43 per square foot, which is an annual revenue for the city of $164,155.68. What is nice about Michigan Works is we're both quasi-governmental agencies, and we do good cohabitating together. It would be very difficult because of our business hours and government holidays and what we do and the services we deliver. It kind of just works out. It would be difficult to find a tenant that could take that much square footage that would be kind of good neighbors with a government entity.
I
So
agree.
it works out well for us. It's been working out well for a while, and this is a 2.5% increase.
Good. Any questions?
Mayor Rep,
Councilmember Warden?
just a comment. Again, I appreciate seeing this, that they want to renew and exercise their option for the additional, at least a 5-year term for lease. That's a big space, and again, this building, they have an existing tenant in there wish to extend. Again, it's not only for the benefit of the community, but on a financial perspective, like city manager said, it was about $160,000 a year. in rental revenue of a tenant in this building. It definitely helps offset the cost. So I'll be supporting this. Thank you.
Any other comments? Take the vote.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton.
Yes.
Councilmember Warden.
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford.
Yes.
Councilmember Beeden.
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. Item 4, please.
Authorizing payment in the amount of $51,935.26 to Healthy Turf Plus LLC for the repair and fertilization of damaged grass at 15.5 acres of city-owned parks.
Is there a motion?
So move.
Councilmember Ashford, is there a second? Councilmember Pemberton.
Madam Mayor and Council, as you remember, Kevin's Lawn Care damaged a significant portion of our city lawn, about 15.5 acres, through using the wrong type of fertilizer on our property. Their insurance company has agreed to pay, I think, upwards around $70,000 towards the repair. These are the bills we've incurred so far. For the insurance company to pay it, they want us to sign off on the claim before they issue payment. I'm not satisfied with the work that's been done. The marina looks terrible. There's some spot areas that are going to have to be redone. And so I told the insurance company we will sign off on nothing until it's up to the standard it was before the damage was created. And so we will front these bills. They've already agreed to pay this amount, but we're not going to have them pay that until we have assured that the restoration is complete and done to our standards. Because we will have to end up going back. We're going to try to reseed some of the areas in the marina, but we don't know what it's going to take in the end of the day. So I am unwilling to let the insurance company off the hook until the job's completed. So we will pay these bills with the understanding that they've already agreed to pay at least this amount, but they're not going to pay it until the job's complete. So we will front the bills, and then our legal team will continue to negotiate for the restoration of the rest.
So we're going to seek to get reimbursed for what
Oh, yeah,
we're
they've
doing.
already agreed to pay
Yeah,
this
because I
amount.
had a big question.
Their whole
there.
thing is they're not going to issue a check until we sign the release.
Okay.
And, you know,
Okay.
you got to wake up pretty early to get one past us, and I'm not going to sign that.
No.
And so because I do believe that the marina is not to par. The Parkway is looking good. Kiefer Park is looking, relatively, the overwhelming majority is doing well. Lincoln Park is looking good, but there's going to be some areas that need to be redone, and we're not signing any release until they're done.
It's good.
Absolutely. Any questions, comments?
Mayor Rep.
Councilmember Warden.
Just for clarity, again, this is, you mentioned the previous contractor utilized, had some damage on some of these grass areas. You mentioned an insurance claim, and then this Health Turf Plus, did we as the city choose this new contractor
Yes.
to fix it?
Yes.
So it's not the contractor and it's not the insurance carrier representing the contractor?
Correct. Our legal team actually brought in a soil and turf specialist to evaluate what needs to be done. We negotiated with the insurance company. We concurred that slit seating to a certain degree would probably work. But then we wanted to bring in a firm that was large enough and had a professional reputation to handle 15.5 acres. This is a large job. This is very significant. And so that is why we brought in this group.
So the Healthy Turf Plus is contracted by the city to fix it. And we're having them do it. They're the ones you just mentioned. Did they do you mentioned the marina or something not up to par yet? But they've already proposed to get this fixed, right? So it's on them to do it.
Healthy Turf?
Or whoever, yeah, they're the ones that are doing it?
We're working with our turf specialists and negotiating with the insurance company on a plan of action.
Okay,
So
I'm just saying.
they're working with our turf specialist that gives recommendations. We had independent turf specialists come in, because it's a pretty complex situation. You have grass that's burned out. We don't know if the soil's bad or if it's all bad. We did do soils in partnership with MSU, soil samples to see if the seeding would work.
Yeah.
There's also issues where it's difficult to get water to.
That's
So
what I'm
watering, I think with the marina is we just couldn't get water to it, and it went dormant before it grew.
Yeah, so we're pretty much going to try to be made whole. Just
Yeah.
we
Oh, we will be
have
made
100 degree weather with no rain.
Yeah.
This summer so far, it's like everybody's lawn is crisp.
Well, the insurance company
know.
tried. The insurance company tried
Yeah, so,
being ridiculous when it came to watering. They didn't want to cover watering costs.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, so
we're trying, right?
we can play nice and we can play tough, and we can do both if we need be, and that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, it looks like it's a respectable thing now, so I appreciate that, and your explanation how you're handling this. Thank you.
Any other comments?
Mayor Rep, I
Councilmember
just
Harris.
kind of want to energize James' comments. Yeah, the parkway up at the north end, it has come along real good. It's green and stuff. And the quality of the grass is not there yet, but hopefully that comes. But like he was saying on River Street, it's pretty much a total failure. I got out of the car and stuff today and took a look down there and picked up a few weeds and very little grass seed. But I think the big culprit is our weather.
Yeah.
Yep.
The 90-degree dry weather, and nothing out of the shade survived on River Street. So.
Yeah. Well, what was the issue is we got a late start because the insurance company was negotiating with us. This should have been done in last of April, first part of May. So, you know, this is what happens. But the same rule is, if this was our own personal front lawn, what would we do? And we're going to treat city property the exact same way.
That'll work. Any other comments? We will take the vote.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Warden?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Councilmember Beeden?
Yes.
Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes, we'll move on to item 5.
Approving the creation of a Port Huron Social District for consideration by the Michigan Liquor Control Commission in downtown Port Huron along Huron Avenue and Military Street from Glenwood Avenue to Court Street.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support?
Councilmember Pemberton, supported by Councilmember Beeden, and yes, please give an explanation.
Madam Mayor and Council, on July 1st, the governor signed legislation that allowed for the enabling of social districts. This was a bipartisan piece of legislation that the governor signed, so that's a rarity in Lansing during these times. What it essentially is trying to address is if restaurants and bars have to do outdoor service for alcohol and beverages or limited capacity of seating, it really puts restaurants and small businesses at a disadvantage because they can't utilize their full footprint to maximize their profits and revenues. So what they try doing is creating outdoor spaces where people can get their dinner and their alcoholic or adult beverage and take it with them to consume. What you have there is a footprint for proposed social district from Glenwood all the way down to Court Street, 1 block deep. What that would allow is for people within that area to go to a restaurant to get no more than a 16-ounce full glass of a controlled beverage and a dinner and go to a public place to consume it. We're proposing that would be in front of McMorran and the Pocket Park south of the bridge on Military Street. That would provide each side of the bridge for a public place. The DDA authorized this morning about $10,300 for furniture. They want to begin gathering, so we have benches downtown, but we don't really have tables and pub tables and chairs for people to sit at. So this Pocket Park here is a lovely place to have dinner. Would be a lovely place to have dinner if we had tables and chairs and pub tables and you could bring your drink there. So the DDA this morning at 8:30 graciously approved to put in high-top pub tables with dining tables all throughout this facility. We're going to put some lights in the trees. We're going to paint the benches bright colors. We're going to really activate the space. So imagine you go to Raven and you get your food to go. You can also get your craft beer to go, and you can go to this park and consume it. You cannot get beer from one facility and go to another facility. So you have to get your drink, your food, and go to one of the two places to consume it. We are working with the liquor control. I met with them today because this just passed, and a lot of communities, they're working on how do you define this, what's this going to look like. So we met with them today on how the social district will work, the reason why we put the street in it so people can walk to these areas. One of the keys is you have to have 2 licensed restaurants or bars contiguous to the social district. So you can't go to, say, Connor Street and put them in a social district because there's not 2 bars that touch the border. And so it was really designed for downtowns so you wouldn't have people driving around town with liquor and all that. So the 2 gathering places are going to be McMorran, which we intend on filling the plaza, which is going to be tore up this fall anyways, with beach sand. There's going to be a lot of really colorful Adirondack chairs with outdoor dining tables. We're going to have bag toss there, some umbrellas. So you can go get food from any of our restaurants, get a beverage to go, and take your family and go to McMorran and play bag toss outdoors and enjoy your meal and your drink out in the open where it's socially distanced and much safer. Now, this concept is not new. In other states, they do this in Memphis and Vegas and New Orleans, and a lot of cities do this. We believe that if it's done right, and some things that have to happen, like for instance, the cup has to be a disposable cup, it must have the restaurant logo, and it must also have a logo for the district. So you can't take your cup and go into a different restaurant or a different bar with it. You got to go to the facility, consume it, and then it's disposable. We are working with the DDA director. Cynthia does an excellent job of designing stickers that say the Port Huron Social District stickers, which we will regulate, and the businesses will buy those stickers off us, probably for 50 cents or $1. That money, per the statute, goes into paying for the cost of maintaining the social districts and public safety. So if we sell 1,000 stickers, that's $1,000 we have for trash bags, trash pickup, and for some additional police coverage downtown to cover those 2 spots. This is done by resolution. We think this is a good idea. We think it's going to work. It may not. It could be a bad idea, and it may not work well. If that's the case, we can always rescind the resolution and say, we tried it, but it didn't work well. So you have the control as the mayor and council. So what will happen is if you approve this tonight, we will submit an application to the Liquor Control Commission to be considered having our social district recognized. I have to imagine they're going to send back our plan with some recommendations and changes to be made. Once we come to an agreement what this will look like, there may be an additional vote needed to amend the plan. But then the businesses who want to participate will have to apply for a license as well, essentially a permit from Liquor Control as well, to start using the to-go cups. So it's a 2-application process. One, we create the district, LCC acknowledges the district, and then the next one is the individual restaurants opt in to have takeout beer, wine, and booze. So anyways, that's the process. We're continuing to work with Liquor Control on how they want to see it, because it's kind of like the law passed, but when the law passes versus getting implemented, there's often sometimes some clarity that has to be worked out, some negotiating.
I guess I have to ask time-wise. I mean, you're talking about it doing one thing and then another, and it's like, okay, summer could be over before this ever happens.
So, and knowing how Liquor Control works, it may be spring.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
We don't know. We believe that this will move relatively quickly. We believe that the governor's office really believes that they want to provide some type of alleviation for these restaurants and small businesses that are struggling with the square footage component of it, and also providing acceptable outdoor spaces for residents to go to. So I think they'll move quickly on it, because it's not like we're selling booze there. So it's not like we have a bar and a restaurant that has to be inspected. They're taking disposable cups there. So very similar to like you would have a beer tent, but they brought their disposable cups from someplace else. So I don't know. I honestly don't know. I think it's going to move quicker than we think.
So, in theory, then you could get a beer at Casey's and consume it along the sidewalk while you're walking and stop at the next place and get another drink.
And based on conversations today, you have to stop drinking as you cross the street.
Oh,
because there's no drinking in roadways in Michigan.
Okay.
So those are the types of conversations we're having today. Like, well, you can't drink in the middle of the street. I said, well, we're not shutting the street down. He goes, so they won't sip when they cross? I go, these are the things we're going to work on with Liquor Control, because we are not the only community submitting maps like this. Several other comparable communities, I've worked with them to see how they're going to do it. So what we didn't want is we didn't want to be an outlier in the type of district being formed. So I called our other city managers across the state, said, what are you guys thinking? And so we actually wrote our plans together and developed our maps in similar fashion. So we'll work on that with Liquor Control to provide clarity.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how quick this moves, because I know they don't move real quickly, so.
It will be. It's always a pleasure working with the state of Michigan.
Anyways, questions from council?
Councilmember
Ashford?
Yeah, thank you, Mira. Yeah, in your planning and everything, what's the risk factors? I mean, anytime you plan, there's a flip side to this.
Yeah.
So what are we?
Our insurance will be insured and covered for this type of activity, as we would with any other type of on-street activity where you have on-street dining or on-street restaurants now. People can serve. Right now you can get a drink and go, if you go in front of the Raven, you can have your beer on the sidewalk and on-street dining. So very similar to that. I think the biggest risk is, costs of, if you have a bunch of disposable cups, that trash is going to have to empty daily. So working with staff, maybe put some porta-johns out there at those 2 areas where people can use the restrooms. So those types of exposure to some additional costs, but hopefully the revenue from the decals that are required under statute can help cover that.
Okay, so you're not concerned about any behavioral?
No, in fact, our open carry laws now says that you can carry along the north side of the marina. You can actually bring your own and have a drink and walk up and down the marina and up to the brass rail now on Huron. So it'll be just slightly different than it is now.
Okay.
Any other questions from anyone?
You cannot bring booze from home
I know that.
to the social areas. That's kind of so if you think you're going to come play bag toss and bring a 6-pack from home, You can't do that. It's got to go to one of the participating restaurants.
And I assume, too, that they can't sell you a six-pack and then you walk out and start opening them up as you're walking down the
Correct.
street
It's
either.
got to be in the disposable
Yeah.
cups in the social
Yeah.
district.
Yeah.
Mayor Rapp,
Yes, Councilmember Beeden.
James, what was the feedback from the downtown businesses?
So far, overwhelmingly positive.
Okay.
So far, because you have to imagine if people are downtown, you know, having their dinner outside, congregating, playing some bag toss
Yeah.
games or maybe
The foot
horseshoes.
traffic would be great.
They're going to stay longer, they're
Yeah.
going to, you know, shop, and it, you know, gives you something to do if your wife's out shopping at the sidewalk sales. Now you can go and grab a beer and play bag toss with the guys.
Yeah.
We'll see if it works. Doesn't hurt to try.
No, it does not.
And if it doesn't work, I'll let you know and bring your resolution to stop it.
There you go.
You're right.
Yes, Councilmember
You
Harris.
know, did we change from the draft? You know, in the draft, I believe it mentioned in there that you could buy a drink at one place and go to another place that doesn't have a license, like Chef Shell's and Maria's.
Correct. Liquor Control clarified that. They're not going to allow it to happen.
You know, I had the fortune today to go and talk to a couple owners of businesses on Superior Street, and when I walked away from the businesses, one likes the idea, and one says, no, they didn't like the idea.
Yeah, Liquor Control said...
And I'd hate to vote on something that is going to punish somebody that, I don't care how big or small a business is, but you don't want to punish anybody, and I don't want it either.
Nope.
And then the question come up with the guidelines of where it is, how does this affect McMorran? McMorran has a liquor license. So does that mean that before a hockey game, you could go, say the hockey season started earlier, or something started earlier, and if they went to the Brass Rail, could they take that drink from the Brass Rail over to McMorran?
No.
So there's a lot of variables out there, so.
Well, there's really not. Liquor Control has decided today that they're putting guidance out today that says, no, they're not going to let alcohol go to other restaurants or businesses. They want you just to consume it in the social districts. So it'll be just consumed in the social district and in the gathering places.
So if we approve this tonight, we'll get a revised draft of what it's
Correct.
going to be? Okay.
You'll also have as well is McMorran is the liquor licenses for the facility. They have to get a special permit if they want to serve outside. And also because of the guidelines from Liquor Control today that says we don't want booze coming into other restaurants, you're not going to be able to go to Brass Rail and walk into McMorran. So you will have two designated locations to consume it and your walk there, and that's it.
And like I say, that's some of the variables that was even brought up by the people I talked to. So it's
Well, I think as Liquor Control is seeing how plans are developing, there's the letter of the law and the intent of the law, and then there's what Liquor Control is willing to approve. And oftentimes, those three things could be very different. So it's kind of a give and take in negotiation with Liquor Control right now. And, how, you know, my question is, what do you want to see? What's acceptable to you? And we'll work around that. And that was our dialogue today.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions, discussion?
Mayor?
Councilmember Warren.
Yeah, so this, yeah, I had the same question that, initially about being able to go into other places that don't have a liquor license, but this, you said it's already been.
Yep.
So just to, again, I like how the concept here is as far south, it looks like it's Pompey's all the way, I think that's included there past Harrington.
Yep, you are correct.
So
And
you
that
can-
was intentional.
Yeah, so you have dinner there, and then you order some drinks to walk, take them out in the cup, and then you walk north on the sidewalk, and you're able to drink those as long as you're in the social district cup. You can stop by on the way. Yeah, I thought it's pretty cool. I think there's going to be a lot of potential adaptation, but ask, you know, for what we can now, and then see how we can apply it, because anything to give some help to our business owners downtown. Would like to, the first thing I thought is, you know, you mentioned Connor Street and Harder City Limits and Tailgater, all these other places around. But again, this is strictly just for this area initially. At least it's something we can try to do. So I think it's a great little concept to try to do. I appreciate the forward thinking, bringing it forward pretty quickly here too as well. And then we'll just have to adjust as we go, as we learn the ropes. But you'd be able to buy a drink at the Brass Rail in the cup, get a cup for the social thing. You'd be able to walk on the sidewalk. You couldn't walk across the street to McMorran. Once you cross the street, you get to the social district fountain in front. You can drink there, and then you stop when you finish it before you get to the front door.
Very much.
Oh, yeah, okay, gotcha.
We're hopeful as well. You know, COVID-19 is a crisis, but we're also learning a lot. If this goes well, this could outlive the COVID issue. So maybe this is something we just always have in the future. So we really want to demonstrate to Liquor Control that it works, that it can be done responsibly, and could really activate some cool spaces downtown. So we're hopeful, if done right, this is far past the COVID issue.
Yep, and I see some of our local, with that recent announcement that indoor, I think indoor bars that only serve alcohol or 70 whatever % were kind of restricted right before the July 4th weekend. I thought about this, they're now trying to sell some to go. Hey, take these to go, and now that's perfect. At least allows somebody to support that business, walk down to one of these areas, consume them. I appreciate the thought. Thank you.
I have a question. It goes down to court, which is Pompey's. Was there any consideration or was there a reason why it didn't go down to include the atrium?
We currently do not have a liquor business open there.
Yes, they do.
Are they open right now?
Oh, I don't know if they're open, but
I don't believe they're currently operating. If they operate, we can adjust the district.
because by the time this happens, they could well be operating. They have a liquor license, and I did see cars there when I went by there
We
earlier
had that
today.
discussion with the DDA, and as of right now, we're under the impression they are not operating.
They're not going to, ever?
We're under the impression right now they are not operating, and in the future, we're not sure. If they do begin operation, we can adjust the size of
Okay,
the district.
I was just concerned about the
Yeah.
fact that they were kind of left out of it. But I do realize they're not open right now, but I wasn't sure if they were going to open up. Okay, as long as we can adjust.
Yep.
All I need to know. Any other questions? We'll take the vote.
Councilmember Warden,
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford,
Yes.
Councilmember Beeden,
Yes.
Councilmember Harris,
Yes?
Councilmember Pemberton,
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes, that concludes our regular agenda. Couple of announcements. The deadline for nominations to be submitted to the city clerk's office for the Beautification Commission's annual Yard of the Year contest is July the 15th, which is 2 days from now. Our next regular city council meeting is August the 10th. We do go to a summer schedule and only meet once in July or August on a regular meeting unless there's something that comes up that we need to call a special meeting. So the next regular meeting is August the 10th. And then I don't mean to put you on the spot, Cindy, but we also have an August 4th primary election, and I didn't know if you wanted to mention anything about that as far as the processes and everything, because it's a little different this time, so.
The processes will be different in the polling locations, yes, but as of today, all 10 polling locations will be open. They will be open the regular hours, basically 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. We will be practicing social distancing, so we will need to make sure that we do remain 6 feet apart in there. There will be plenty of face masks available for voters who may not have one coming in. The election workers will all be in PPE equipment. They will have shields in front of them. Plenty of hand sanitizers. The pens will be sanitized for you. So if you're not comfortable coming to the polling locations, you can, of course, get an absentee ballot. You can do that by mail. You can shoot us an email, or you can come into our office and get that.
Thank you. Okay, is there anything else to come before the council from the council members?
Yeah, Mayor Rep.
Councilmember Ashford.
First of all, I'd like to thank all the businesses, I think it was Keel and the chambers, and even yourself, Mayor, in terms of the census that we
Yeah.
put forth, and the transit, Blue Water Transit had advertisement on the side of the buses. And as of today, the city of Port Huron, when the mayor and I first started talking about it, we were at about 50%, and we have did a crawl, so right now we're at 60.1% for the city of Port Huron. And for St. Clair County, we're at 73.7%. And in the state of Michigan, as a whole, we're at 68.2%. And we do the Census 2020, they do an overall national ranking. And by state, Michigan is third. So that is good. Can't we get a hand clap so I know y'all out there? Michigan is at third. Okay. This is money, people. This is money. This is no joke. I mean, there's $675 billion at stake here. So we got to get this money into Michigan. And the top state is Minnesota, that's in first place, and they have 71.5%. And we do have a Michigan city that is on the board here. It's Huntington Woods. They are ranking third. They have 91.9%. So I know we can do better than that. And today I'm happy to announce that with all the efforts that we have been doing, we have enlisted the help of the Sons organization, the youth, and you know how they are with the media. So they did a training today. It's a phone bank training where they're going to head to the computers and the phones, and they'll be calling throughout the city of Port Huron to those people that haven't or have. They would apologize if you got a call. If you already did it, they have a script for that to tell you thank you for doing that. But they have come on board to help with these efforts. So Dishana Johnson, she is the Deputy Director of the state of Michigan, and we had that Zoom training today. So we're looking forward to that number changing. So hopefully we won't be talking about 67%. We'll be talking about at least 80-something%. And the whole entire goal for the state of Michigan is 82%. So if we can get up there, itch our way up to there, we'll be home free. So I'd just like to thank everybody at home that have filled out your census and encourage those, if you haven't filled them out, please, please fill them out. It does make a difference, a huge difference.
And it doesn't take but a few minutes.
Right.
So I do concur with everything you said. It's very important for us and for the state that we get the proper fundings and that we get the right representation in Washington. So,
Mayor,
yes,
just real quick, what's the timeline on that now that we're in July?
they postponed it because of the COVID. I know that they've got people going around
Now?
going door to door
Okay.
right now. I'm not sure what the
Deadline?
Deadline is.
The deadline is August the 31st.
31st.
And
Because they extended it.
they extended it, and then we will be having people doing in August, going around the takers, going
Yep, they're
from
going
place,
right
and they will be social distances, the right PPE and everything. So, like Pauline said, we did have a little pause in there where that's why we went to this phone banking, virtual phone banking. So we're going to get back on board in August, and the deadline will be August the 31st.
Can I just make a suggestion? I don't know if it's there, but, being here on council, we had, at one point back when it was the, raising or changing the annual fees for the rental certification, there was something like 12,000 housing units and 6,000 of them are rentals. Mm-hmm. With this deadline here, is there any way for us to contact or maybe get something to the landlords to send or to help forward the census thing to the unit owners? Because they're in contact usually every month with the rental checks, but it's one way to get some education out. I don't know if there's a way to do that. Maybe not to put it all on them, but give them something that maybe we could help assist them giving it to their tenants. It's important. This is every 10 years. Mm-hmm. This is our population. This is where we get what portion we get of the funds. And you said we're at 60% in Port Huron?
Yes, we are. We're at 67.1%.
So I just thought of something. That might be something we could try to utilize that good relationship with either the landlord association or the landlords to maybe do.
Well,
I think James is going to follow up on that.
Yeah.
Just an idea.
Yep, it is good. And we do have a lot of information out on our website too, as far as, what people can go and check out too about the census. So it is important. Yes, Councilmember.
Just to add to that, with the moratorium on evictions right now, we got a pretty stable market out there. So I think once the moratorium on eviction comes off, you're going to see a huge scramble.
Yeah, they're going to start moving.
Good.
Yeah,
It's going to change the complexion of the city.
could be.
Yeah. So I'd just like to just give the talented 10 and the director, Tyrone Burrell, a thank you on behalf of us
doing that.
here for doing that.
Yep. Good project for them.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else to come before the council? Is there a motion to adjourn then?
So moved.
Meeting adjourned.